Do guys approach you? Never. I mean, in like the video game world, I'm like a 10 out of 10. I don't even believe that, but in real life, I'm like a 4. I'm like a 5.
These guys in the comment section are acting as if I'm forcing you to go talk to a girl. I'm saying if you're interested, go talk to her. And I also said, I think girls should go talk to the guys first too. Calm down, men.
Huh? What's wrong? Are you looking for something?
I saw you from across there, right? I was gonna come and approach you because you look good, but I was like, there's no point. You know, there's actually no point. I don't know. I'm out of function. I'm sorry for wasting your time.
What do you mean there's no point? Okay.
It's like, do I have the time, the effort, the energy? Can I go through the heartbreak again? Because really and truly, that's what happens. You look good though.
Thank you.
But, yeah, that's enough.
I was in the 212. I'm the uptown A nigga.
He's scared of his pussy. He's scared.
Why your face so ugly?
He's scared of his pussy.
Legion, we have reached the final stage. The confusion has turned to pleading. The anger has dissolved into desperate analysis. They're no longer just asking why. They are down on their knees, examining their own hands, wondering what they did to make us walk away. This is the sound of the female collective hitting rock bottom.
It's come to my attention that men are confused on whether or not they should approach women, not only from all the recent videos I've created, but also from this comment in particular, because people are saying, well, women have told me not to approach them. Women have told us men to not approach them. And in this comment, this person is saying it's not a self-esteem issue by not approaching, it's a respect for women issue. Now, I can understand this idea that, okay, well, I'm respecting a woman's wishes by not approaching because for so long, women have told us to not approach, but we need to just take it a step further and actually think, why is it that women have had this narrative that men should not approach them? Oh, let me guess. It's probably because women have been subjected to so many, like countless times where they've been made to feel really uncomfortable by men approaching in very uncomfortable and not respectful ways. I don't think that there's anything disrespectful about telling someone that you like them or that you'd like to get to know them better. If anything, that's flattering, and the women should be able to take the compliment and should be flattered by that. It's a woman problem if the person doesn't know how to accept that compliment and whether or not they find that person attractive to like let the person down if they're not interested and to do it in a respectful way. So I can understand why guys are like, well, we're just respecting women's wishes. But we also should like think about, well, why are women wishing that in the first place? They probably had dealt with a lot of men who've made them uncomfortable, number one. But also number two, I think that like men need to learn how to put themselves out there in a respectful and honorable way, build more self-confidence, and to build the skill sets of like how to talk to people in real life instead of be glued to our phones and choose convenience and comfort over discomfort and unfamiliarity, but probably higher reward.
The word uncomfortable is the ultimate weapon. It's undefined, unquantifiable, and completely subjective. A man can do everything right and still be labeled creepy because she wasn't attracted to him. There's no respectful way to approach when the very act of approaching is now considered suspect.
You know what freaking blows my mind? The dynamic between masculine and feminine energy is literally so freaking backwards right now, especially in the gym. We've got beautiful and powerful women and strong, disciplined men in the same space. We're all in there working on ourselves, fueling our bodies with love and life. And then guess what? We actually see each other every day. We literally make eye contact. We notice same faces every single day, even develop hardcore gym crushes, but nobody's approaching. All the ladies are out there wondering, why hasn't he said anything? Meanwhile, the men are like, oh, she probably doesn't want to be bothered. Or even worse, I don't want to come off as a creep. But here's the truth. The hesitation is literally pushing you out of your masculine and pushing you into your feminine energy. As a man, it's in your instinctive nature to be a hunter, protector, provider, and a leader. Even animals have this dynamic figured out, yet humans just allow social media and fear narratives to rewire them. You've let the internet convince you that respectfully approaching a woman makes you a creep. And because of that, so many amazing masculine men are standing in the same freaking room as high value women every single day and never say a word. Literally. Men, listen, high value women are everywhere. She's right in front of you at the gym, grocery store, coffee shop, gas station, but you're never gonna meet her if you don't approach. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about leading even when your voice shakes. It's about reclaiming your role as the initiator. Because if you want the feminine woman of your dreams, you're gonna have to step into your masculine energy and claim her.
The gym is ground zero for false allegations. One misinterpreted look, one uncomfortable moment, and a man's life is over. Real masculinity in 2025 isn't about approaching, it's about having the discipline to avoid unnecessary risks.
There's a misconception that men can't approach women because now they are considered creeps if they do, and this is false. I think this is both a slippery slope and a straw man fallacy. Because what you're basically saying is, if I can't approach you and pursue you the way that I want, then I can't approach you or pursue you at all. You can absolutely approach a woman, but what you can't do is cross boundaries or blur the lines of consent. So if she says no, that means that you don't keep pressing her, pushing her, following her, harassing her, calling her BITCH and all that other stuff. That means that you say, okay, no problem, thanks, well, I think you're beautiful, and have a great day. So what women have asked for is that we can say no safely without being harassed or verbally or physically sexually assaulted. We never said you couldn't approach us. And I partially blame a lack of etiquette because there's no formal dating practices. That means we're relying on common sense. We're relying on your ability to read the room and read a person's body language and adjust accordingly. But evidently that's a lost art, or I don't know, maybe men are not particularly good at reading body language or social cues, verbal cues. Maybe that explains a lot of the misunderstandings between us. But in most cultures, you'll see there's some type of formal practice for courting. So again, years ago here in the United States, a woman might purposely drop her handkerchief so a man can pick it up and start the conversation. You'll see in some cultures, tribal cultures overseas, they will like what, jump up and down, show their teeth. There's actual rituals for picking a partner. They even have had balls where there's a process for formally asking for a date, how many times you dance with that person, and what the process is afterwards, after that dance. There's even the act of courting, or going to a woman's house and talking to her parents, meeting the family, etc., to express your interest. But our processes have gotten so relaxed, and we've pretty much thrown out all types of courting and etiquette that leaves people with no formal guideline for how to court and how to pursue. And although you don't need that, apparently you do. I 100% believe you should be able to read the room enough and read a person's body language and social cues enough to know, okay, let me back off this pursuit, or, let me keep the conversation going. But for the people who don't, there needs to be some type of formal etiquette or formal courting process, because for some reason people think that they are the victim because women have simply asked for consent. The more you know.
A kind rejection doesn't go viral. It doesn't get you TikTok followers. It doesn't earn validation from your feminist friends. Meanwhile, recording a creepy approach gets you internet fame. Until there are actual consequences for women who publicly humiliate men, this is empty virtue signaling. Men have learned the hard way that no is the best case scenario. The worst case is ending up as someone's content.
Girls often say men don't approach like they used to. But here's the thing. It takes real courage for a man to respectfully message you or to start a conversation in person. Rejection stings, and public embarrassment, that's even worse. So if a guy approaches you with manners and dignity, be kind. You don't have to accept, but you can decline with grace. Because when we respond with respect, we don't just preserve someone's confidence, we raise the standards for how people treat each other. In a world that's quick to embarrass, choose to empower.
Why would an average man approach when he knows he's being measured against Instagram models and TikTok influencers? The cold approach is dead because pre-selection has moved online, where he's already been judged and found wanting before he even opens his mouth.
If you're under the impression that girls don't want to get approached, you're wrong. How many times do you hear guys say that their wife wasn't even like that into them and then they convince them to go on a date? I will say that with dating apps and social media, it's harder for girls to want and accept guys who aren't perfect or optimal. And that is a problem that I think girls these days need to recognize, that yes, you can have your dream man, but you don't have to pick people apart. Like, being tall is not a virtue, it's just genetics. And you're probably overlooking your dream guy by being too picky. But that's besides the point. If you are someone who is able to understand social cues like a normal person, if you're looking at a girl across the room and she's looking at you back and being flirty, no, don't be creepy, but be persistent. Because there is a flirtation and back and forth that happens. And the persistent guy usually does get the girl. And for girls, give guys a chance, go on a second date, let something develop, and don't move on so quickly.
She's living in the past. In the 90s, a rejection was just a rejection. Today, it's potential social suicide. The difference isn't men. It's the legal and social environment women created. You can't campaign for decades about unwanted male attention, then be shocked when the attention stops. This is the definition of be careful what you wish for.
Question for the men. Why is it that men no longer really approach women in public? Because I feel like back in the 90s, early 2000s, you'd see it so frequently that men are walking up to women, having a little conversation, a little banter, a little flirt, and maybe even ask them out if things are going well. But I don't ever see that anymore. What's going on? Like, what happened? Can you guys let me know in the comments, please?
She's living in the past. In the 90s, a rejection was just a rejection. Today, it's potential social suicide. The difference isn't men. It's the legal and social environment women created. You can't campaign for decades about unwanted male attention, then be shocked when the attention stops. This is the definition of be careful what you wish for.
Kwani siku hizi what happened? People are not proposing anymore. Na mwenye hata ameng'ang'ana kupropose anadampiwa mbele za watu watoi dawari. Kwani what's happening?
She's asking the most important question of all. In traditional societies, women brought clear value: fertility, homemaking, loyalty. What value does the modern Western woman bring? Often it's debt, high body count, feminist ideology, and the constant threat of divorce rape. The dowry disappeared because the product isn't worth the price anymore.
He ain't saying nothing though, so.
You didn't, but it's okay. That's one that I was staring at.
If you ain't saying nothing, then you ain't that interested.
True.
And if you're not that interested, then that's cool too. But this is the spot to be. So I'm gonna keep staying here.
Like, I remember one time when I came here, Brianna, I was like, hey, I want to come in. They were like, unfortunately, like, if you don't have a reservation, you can come on. But they did not.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
You see how when we first pulled up, the road was closed. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of
Good, how you doing? We was up there, and then we were like, let's gonna come down here. And then I was actually about to call.
This is female dating strategy in one sentence: maximum reward, minimum risk. She wants all of the benefits of traditional masculinity without any of the vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, men are supposed to risk everything for the privilege of her attention. The math doesn't work anymore. We've recalculated the equation and found peace more valuable than this unbalanced dynamic.
Are you approaching girls at a bar?
Me?
Who, me?
Who, me? I'm too nervous. I just wait in the corner and sip my drink and be mysterious.
I honestly find that guys aren't approaching girls at the bar anymore.
Weirdly enough, yeah, me neither. I usually would hear like my friends like be like, "Oh my god, like I'm gonna go up to that girl." I'm like, "Okay, cool." No one really does.
It's like one of your friends said it to me recently. So another guy I know said it to me, and I'm like, "You're all very attractive men," and they're like, "I am like terrified. I'm anxious," and then I'm like, you don't even have to be anxious because you're so attractive they're coming up to you. Like, that's why.
Yeah.
If even top-tier men are afraid, you know the environment is toxic. When a 6'4" wealthy man hesitates to approach, it's not because he's weak, it's because he has more to lose. The higher you climb, the farther you fall. A viral video accusing a successful man of creepy behavior could cost him his career. Why risk it for a random woman at a bar?
The solution to this so-called male loneliness epidemic is clearly that men need to like women more. And let me explain. Men are separated into two camps, okay? You have men that like women and men that don't like women. Men that don't like women are the majority and they are in community with each other. Men that like women are the minority and they're in community with each other and with women. Both groups of men struggle with male loneliness in different ways, but it is both because of the fact that men don't like women. Let's start with the men that don't like women. When I say men that don't like women, I'm not necessarily talking about like violent, abusive men. I'm talking about men that don't care for women, right? These men might love women romantically. They might love their girlfriend. They might love their mum. They might be sexually attracted to women. However, they're not interested in women. Like if their best guy friend brings his girlfriend, they're not going to ask her lots of questions about what she does because they literally don't care about women. They might not even realize that they don't like women, but they don't like women. These men are lonely because they're not fulfilled by their community, a community of men that doesn't like women, a community of men that has not unlearned their internalized patriarchy that makes them abhor vulnerability, connection, all that which they associate with women. So these men are not emotionally fulfilled by the other men they're in community with, and they're only emotionally fulfilled when they have a partner. The men in this group that do okay are the ones with girlfriends or the ones that have more access to intimacy and romance with women, the ones that are better looking, the ones that maybe have more dating experience, the ones that are more confident, the ones that are more socially intelligent and are better at pretending to be in this group just so that they can get women. These are the men in this group that do okay when it comes to loneliness. And obviously the other side of that spectrum would be incels, men that don't like women and can't get women, and they would be the loneliest of the men in the camp of men that don't like women. And then you have the men that like women. Obviously all of my friends that are men are in this camp. These men tend to have a lot of female friends. However, I've spoken to all of my guy friends at length about this male loneliness epidemic, and what they say is that even though they have really close female friends, and a lot of them will have like one or two like best guy friends that are also in this camp that they can really be vulnerable with, the world is dominated by these men. So when they're, at school, in the workplace, and they find themselves in a sea of these men that clock a man and assume, that they're going to be in this camp because most men are in this camp, and then as soon as they realize that the man is in this camp, they're like immediately like energetically ostracized, right? Like they're never going to fit in with these men unless they're really good at faking it. That's why they feel the loneliness. So these men feel lonely because of these men who don't like women. And these men feel lonely because they don't like women. And this whole male loneliness epidemic would be solved if they just all liked women. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
This is mental gymnastics to avoid the obvious truth. Men don't not like women. We're exhausted by the modern dating environment. We're tired of the games, the unrealistic standards, the constant vetting, and the legal liabilities. This isn't about it's about self-preservation and valuing our peace over dramatic relationships.
Since I have some awesome guys on TikTok right now listening, I'm thinking, may I have your opinion, please? What is it with men these days and not wanting to date? Do you guys have a fear of commitment? Is it the woman these days? Does it have anything to do with spending money on women? Does it have anything to do with trust issues? Maybe dating apps? Maybe you feel like there are endless options in terms of significant others? Please let me know in the comments.
The answer is in Speaker 12's research. Men have been screaming the reasons for years, but women haven't been listening. Now that the consequences are here, they're finally asking the question.
Women are failing men. Ladies, the reason that no man is approaching you is because of you, not them. I did the dirty work and asked men why they were afraid to talk to you and got over 5,000 responses, and there was definitely a common theme. Let's read some. I would say fear of rejection and being humiliated in front of everyone. I am not worthy enough to talk to women. I just have nothing to offer them except boring, normal life. Rejection paralyzes me. Current culture feels like I will be perceived as a creep for talking to a girl I don't know. Mostly it's the fear of rejection, like I'm bothering them somehow. Rejection maybe, ending up on TikTok if you get my drift, worried about being judged for not meeting the woman's appearance standards. So to the ladies, do better. The environment that you've created for men is only leading to the singleness that you continue to complain about. And to the men, maybe knowing that these responses were a trend amongst 5,000 of you is a bit reassuring, if anything.
This is the smoking gun. This isn't speculation, it's data. Men aren't approaching because the risk-reward calculation is catastrophically bad. The environment women created has made approaching too dangerous. Until that changes, the rational male strategy will remain complete withdrawal. They wanted safety, but complain about loneliness. They wanted independence, but miss being approached. They wanted power, but wonder where the protectors went. The male withdrawal isn't a protest, it's an adaptation. We've evolved to survive in the environment you created. Until you make dating safe and rewarding for men again, the silence will only grow louder. We've chosen peace. The question is, when will you choose reality? This is Male Legion, where reality hits harder than a TikTok breakup. Cheers.